The Spiderverse gets even bigger in June 2023 with a sequel that goes all out. Here's all you'll need to know before you go across the Spiderverse with Miles Morales. June 2023 is going to be a huge month for movie fans. Indiana Jones is coming back for one last ride in Dial of Destiny. The Flash will bring the Scarlet Speedster to the big screen once again. Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal will join forces in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Wes Anderson will make his grand pastel-colored return in Asteroid City. And if you'd rather just stay home, Chris Hemsworth will be beating up plenty of bad guys in Netflix's Extraction 2. To kick off all that competition, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse will be swinging into theaters as the month begins on June 2nd. Will the movie be able to hold its ground against the competition? We have a hunch that Miles and the other Spider people will do just fine. Still, it'll be interesting to see how the critics' reviews and box office numbers of Across the Spiderverse fare against those of The Flash. 2018's Into the Spider-Verse is hailed as an all-time great superhero flick, and many hold out hope that the upcoming Flash film, which comes out June 16th, will similarly be an instant classic. The first Spider-Verse also helped introduce audiences to the concept of superhero multiverses, which The Flash is capitalizing on. What's going to happen when these two heroes compete on theater screens? We can't wait to find out. Want big stakes? How about multiversal stakes? According to the official plot synopsis for Across the Spider-Verse, the story will kick off after Miles Morales reunites with Gwen Stacy. From there, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must redefine what it means to be a hero, so he can save the people he loves most. That new threat is most likely the Spot, a lesser-known Spidey villain whose body is covered in interdimensional portals that enable him to jump through space and across universes.
That's not funny. Don't do that.
It also looks like Miles will be clashing with Miguel O'Hara, also known as Spider-Man 2099, the leader of an interdimensional group of spider people. O'Hara has a very different philosophy when it comes to protecting the multiverse. As for all those multiversal worlds, we know the movie will visit 5 different universes: Spider-Man 2099's Nueva York, Gwen Stacy's Earth 65, the India-influenced Mumbattan, the punk-inspired New London, and a 5th world that hasn't been revealed yet. Each world will have its own unique animation style. The movie will also focus on the growing romance between Miles and Gwen, with director Kent Powers telling Empire that there will be something of a love triangle between Miles, Gwen, and the new character Spider-Punk. Several of the major players from Into the Spider-Verse are returning for the sequel. Jameek Moore, who voices Miles Morales, is back in the role, and Haley Steinfeld is returning to play Gwen Stacy. Jake Johnson is also coming back as Peter B. Parker. He's a father now to daughter Mayday Parker.
Mayday, you have a baby!
I have a baby.
Speaking of parents, Brian Tyree Henry and Luna Velez are returning to play Miles' dad and mom. Oscar Isaac will also reprise the role of Spider-Man 2099. This futuristic hero showed up in an Into the Spider-Verse post-credit scene, hoping to explore other universes.
Where do you want to go first?
Let's start at the beginning, one last time. Earth 67.
He looks to be an antagonistic force in Across the Spider-Verse, butting heads with Miles on how to save the world, and more importantly, whom to save. Daniel Kaluuya joins the cast to play Hobie Brown, the Spider-Punk, and Issa Rae will voice the pregnant Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman. We'll also get to hear Karan Sony as Spider-Man India. As for the universe hopping the spot, Jason Schwartzman will be hopping in to voice the baddie. Yoamun Takoni of The Lonely Island will voice a scary-looking version of the Vulture. And we can also expect to hear the vocal stylings of Rachel Dratch, Shea Wiggum, and Greta Lee. Across the Spider-Verse boasts multiple Spider people, and the film also boasts multiple directors. Joaquim Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson are all at the helm of this sequel. Dos Santos has a lot of animation experience, with directing credits on acclaimed series such as Avatar: The Last Airbender and Justice League Unlimited. As for Powers, he earned an Oscar nomination for adapting 2020's One Night in Miami. He also wrote and co-directed Pixar's Soul. As for Thompson, he's been involved in animation for quite some time, serving as a production designer on titles like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 and the first Spider-Verse film. This is an incredibly talented lineup of filmmakers, and we can't wait to see how their varying styles blend together in this exciting superhero story. They seem pretty psyched themselves. In a joint statement to Variety, the three directors said, "The crew behind Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse set such a ridiculously high bar, and we're humbled to take on the challenge of charting the next chapter in the stories of Miles Morales. We can't wait to surprise fans with a wild new adventure we're sending Miles on with his friends, both old and new." Phil Lord and Chris Miller have built up quite a shared Hollywood resume. They cooked up Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, took us back to high school with 21 Jump Street, and created a whole world out of plastic bricks with the Lego Movie. They've also produced a ton of films from Cocaine Bear to The Mitchells vs. the Machines. These two are also key to the success of Into the Spiderverse, serving as producers and with Lord working on the story. Now they're back for Across the Spiderverse, and they're writing the screenplay with Dave Callahan. While you might not recognize Callahan's name, you've definitely seen some of his movies. His credits include 2021's Mortal Kombat, Wonder Woman 1984, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. In addition to co-writing the script, Lord and Miller are also producing the pick, along with some pretty key Hollywood players. There's longtime Marvel executive R.V. Arad, as well as Amy Pascal, the former head of Sony Pictures Entertainment. They'll be joined by Christina Steinberg, who produced Into the Spider-Verse, and titles such as National Treasure and Rise of the Guardians. The two official trailers for Across the Spider-Verse show off its huge cast of characters and beautifully designed worlds. The first trailer does a great job of setting the tone for what we're about to witness, giving us glimpses of emotional moments and action-packed brawls. Miles and Gwen share a sweet rooftop moment. Jessica Drew battles a vulture while atop a motorcycle. Our hero finds himself at odds with basically every Spider-Person in the multiverse. As the trailer plays out, Miles' mom gives him words of encouragement, telling him to take care of himself, that little boy she's raised and loved, and make sure he never forgets where he came from.
Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me.
We have a feeling all that will play pretty heavily into the events of the film, as Spider-Man 2099 seemingly doesn't want Miles involved at all in his society of Spider-Men. A second trailer delves more into the plot as a confused Miles encounters the Spot, whose portals make him a particularly tricky villain to deal with. He also reunites with Peter B. Parker. Spider-Punk rocks out, and Spider-Man India soars across the screen. It also seems that Miles' secret superhero life might be causing some conflict at home, and the trailer hints that his family life might play a huge part in the film. At one point, we see Miles' dad in serious peril, and that's when Spider-Man 2099 says that being Spider-Man is a sacrifice, adding,
"You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world."
Ever the true hero, Miles plans on saving everyone, and he refuses to let anyone dictate how he lives his life, saying that he's going to do his own thing. Multiverses are all the rage right now, especially in the world of Marvel. Obviously, Across the Spider-Verse will deal with multiple dimensions, and in the MCU, heroes have been popping between different timelines and universes in series like Loki, and movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Of course, one of the most notable MCU projects to deal with multiverses was Spider-Man No Way Home, which found Peter Parker and Stephen Strange up against a sudden influx of alternate reality bad guys and different versions of Spider-Man. That event was so huge that it seems to have caught Miguel O'Hara's attention. In the second official trailer for Across the Spider-Verse, the irate hero starts ranting about the events of No Way Home, telling Miles,
"Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
So it seems like Sony's animated world may be a part of this larger fabric of Spider universes that includes Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire. Interestingly, this does call a few things into question. In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, it's made clear that Strange lives on Earth 616, which is the main Marvel universe in the comics. However, O'Hara says Strange lives on Earth 199999, which was the MCU's designation dating back to a reference in 2008's Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe A to Z, Volume 5. While Multiverse of Madness seems to have changed things up, it looks like Spider-Man 2099 has a different numbering system in mind. Someone will have to clear all this up. There is little denying that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a huge success for Sony. Not only did it receive critical and fan acclaim and win a number of high-profile awards, but the film was also a commercial success, grossing more than $375 million at the box office, so it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that a sequel would be on the way. But it isn't just Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse that's slated for release. Sony has also greenlit several spin-offs as well. According to an exclusive report from Deadline, Beck Smith is writing a Spider-Woman film that will feature 3 different generations of superheroes who all have powers similar to Spider-Man. Several producers and writers from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse are also set to be involved, including Amy Pascal and Avi Arad. Meanwhile, Chris Miller has also revealed that he and Phil Lord are also developing a number of television series based on Marvel characters, some of which are connected to the Spider-Verse franchise, although he would not give out any concrete details. Along with the upcoming sequel, fans of the Spider-Verse will get another dose of the web-slinging hero in 2023, with the release of a short called The Spider Within. Variety reports that the short film will chart the anxiety that Miles Morales suffers from as he tries to be a superhero while also trying to live the typical life of a teenager. It will also look at how important it is to seek help when things get tough. The Spider Within is being developed as part of Sony's leading and empowering new storytellers program, which is meant to give talented creatives from backgrounds that are underrepresented in the movie and television industries a platform to show their talent. The short is set to arrive in June, around the same time that Across the Spider-Verse will hit cinema screens. It will first be shown at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, before being released to the wider public. When Sony first revealed the title for the Into the Spider-Verse sequel, it also confirmed that it wouldn't be the only sequel. In fact, the second movie was initially unveiled under the title Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, suggesting that the second and third films are strongly connected and would effectively tell one continuous story. Phil Lord and Chris Miller later explained that when they started to write the film, they had too many ideas to fit into a single release, so they began working on 2 movies at the same time. At CinemaCon 2022, the filmmakers revealed the new title for the third movie, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. All indications are it will continue the story from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and follow Miles Morales and the other Spider people who make up its cast. We're wondering if Across the Spider-Verse will have some sort of cliffhanger ending meant to set up Beyond the Spider-Verse, which will be released on March 29, 2024. Speaking with Empire, producer Miller compared Across the Spider-Verse to The Empire Strikes Back, saying, "It shows you worlds you haven't seen, and is an emotional story that ends in a place where you need to see the third one." It is not unusual for animated films to take a lot longer to produce than typical live-action releases. Animation can be a very labor-intensive process, and 3D computer animation can take huge amounts of time to render. This means that animated movies can have hundreds of people as part of the production crew, all working on different aspects of the project to get it out in a reasonable time frame. A good example is The Lion King, the 1994 movie that was a part of the Disney Renaissance and was one of the last traditionally animated releases from the company. Around 600 animators, artists, and technicians were involved in the production from its conception until it hit cinema screens. Meanwhile, the CGI Frozen 2 from 2019 had a team that was 800 people strong working on the project. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse puts all of these numbers to shame. The new film had more than 1,000 people as part of the crew, with Phil Lord and Chris Miller telling Deadline that it has the largest crew of any animated movie ever made, significantly more than worked on the first film. When discussing the sheer size of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with Deadline, Phil Lord and Chris Miller spoke about the vast number of characters that would be in the movie. They also joked that CEO of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group Tom Rothman wasn't aware of the scale of their project, saying, "Don't tell Tom the number of characters. This movie has 240 characters." Considering that the film will feature 5 different dimensions, including a secret one that is yet to be revealed, there are a lot of places for various heroes, villains, and other variants to appear. Some of the more obscure versions of Spidey who have been confirmed for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse include the bombastic Bagman and the amazing Spider-Monkey. But some fans haven't seen yet that could show up in the series include the cowboy-like web-slinger and Mexican hero Arachnido Jr., an Otto Octavius fusion known as the Superior Spider-Man, and the infamous Venom. It's likely, though, that fans won't get a full picture of exactly who is included in the film until it hits theaters in June.
Maybe I should go to New York and speak to this, Spider-Man.
Every major movie comes with marketing deals that help spread the word about the film and bring in some extra revenue. For just 2 examples, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse have promotional partnerships with Super League Gaming and General Mills, offering people the chance to experience video game challenges based on the movie, as well as buy boxes of cereal with free Spiderverse stickers inside. So it shouldn't be a huge shock to learn that Sony already has a few marketing deals in place ahead of the release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Deadline reported in 2020 that Sony had teamed up with Hyundai to include vehicles and technology from the automaker in the movie, as well as several other releases from the film studio. There will also be a series of 15 Funko Pop figures based on characters and events from the 2023 movie, including Spider-Man India, Spider-Gwen, and Miles Morales. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had a soundtrack that included a traditional film score and a mixture of previously released music from pop music artists including DJ Khalil, Post Malone, and Nicki Minaj. The score was composed by Daniel Pemberton, an award-winning musician who also worked on DC's Birds of Prey and Netflix's Black Mirror. The good news for fans of the first film is that Pemberton is returning for the sequel. He told Polygon of the new film score, "It's the most complicated, out there, crazy score I've probably ever written." Pemberton went on to give an idea of what viewers can expect to hear when they see the film, saying it will include drum solos, opera vocals, punk rock, Indian percussion, techno drums, extreme time stretching, emotional orchestration, arpeggiated synths, and crazy sound design. Phil Lord and Chris Miller have also revealed that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will have music from record producer and DJ Metro Boomin. The musician has released 2 albums of superhero-themed music, and according to Hypebeast, he will create music for the film that the writers believe Miles Morales would listen to. Chris Anker is probably best known for his work on a variety of Marvel comics. He has previously provided artwork for a number of high-profile series, including X-Men, Captain Marvel, Runaways, and Star-Lord. He contributed to 2015 Spider-Verse No. 2 and has drawn variant covers for the Miles Morales Spider-Man series and Edge of Spider-Verse. In 2020, CBR reported that Anker was involved in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, although it didn't detail exactly what his role in the production was. Things changed a few months later when the artist replied to a question on Twitter to confirm that he was working on the movie full-time as a character designer. Anker certainly has plenty of experience in character design. He modernized the look of the Jessica Drew version of Spider-Woman in 2015.